You're sitting in a windowless room beneath a cathedral in Bavaria. The year is 1776. Not the America one, not the fireworks and muskets one. A different revolution is starting tonight, and it doesn't want anyone to know it exists. A man across the table slides a candle toward you. His face is half shadow. He tells you that everything you've been taught about God, about kings, about the natural order of the world, is a lie designed to keep you asleep. He asks you one question. Do you want to see how the world actually works? You say yes. You have no idea what you just agreed to. This is your life at every level of the Illuminati. You are nobody. That's the point. They didn't recruit you because you're powerful. They recruited you because you're hungry. You're a university student in Ingolstadt, Bavaria. Maybe you study law, maybe philosophy. Either way, you've read enough Voltaire and Rousseau to know that the Catholic Church has its boot on the throat of every idea worth having. And the monarchy is a costume party for inbred men who think God personally handed them a crown. Your recruiter? He doesn't call himself a recruiter. He calls himself your friend. He met you at a reading group. He lent you books that weren't in the university library because the university banned them. He asked you careful questions over months. What do you think about superstition? About obedience? About whether a man should think for himself? You passed the test. You didn't even know it was a test. Now you're a novice. The lowest rung. You're given a code name. Something classical. Maybe Spartacus. Maybe Ajax. Your real name is effectively dead. You're told to never write the word Illuminati in any letter. If you must reference the order, you call it the Society, or simply nothing at all. Dates are written in a Persian calendar. Cities are given fake names. Munich is Athens. Bavaria is Greece. You think this is thrilling. It is. But it's also a cage. You just can't see the bars yet. Your one job at this level? Recruit. Find other young men at the university who are smart, discontented, and this part matters. Wealthy enough to be useful, but not so wealthy they can't be controlled. You write detailed reports about each prospect. Their habits, their debts, their weaknesses, their ego. You send these reports upward. You never see where they go. You are a spy for an organization whose structure you are not allowed to understand. And here's the part nobody tells you about level 1. You're also being spied on. Your recruiter? He's writing reports about you. Your reliability. Your discretion. Whether you drink too much. Whether you talk in your sleep. Whether your loyalty is real or just fashionable rebellion. You don't move up until they're sure you can be trusted. Most novices never move up. You've been promoted. You're now a Minerval, named after Minerva, the Roman goddess of wisdom. Her owl is the symbol of the order. You'll see that owl everywhere now. Stamped on letters. Embossed on medallions. Carved into the underside of tables where meetings are held. For the first time, you attend a lodge meeting. It's not what you expected. There are no blood oaths. No skulls. No sacrificial altars. It's a reading group. A very intense, very secret reading group. Members present essays on philosophy, morality, science. There are debates. You are expected to contribute, and your contributions are graded. Not by a teacher. By someone you've never met. 2 levels above you. Reading a transcript of everything you said. You are being evaluated on how you think. But here's where it gets interesting. At the Minerval level, you're introduced to the concept of the Cabus Licet, a sealed envelope system. You write monthly reports, not just about recruits, but about yourself, your doubts, your moral struggles, your temptations. These confessions go up the chain in sealed envelopes that only your superiors can open. You think this is self-improvement. It's blackmail material. They're building a file on you, in your own handwriting. The genius of Adam Weishaupt, the founder, a 28-year-old professor of canon law who envisioned all of this, was that he designed a system where you imprison yourself willingly. Every secret you share is a lock on your own door. But you don't see it that way. You see community, purpose. You see men who actually care about reason in an age of superstition. For the first time in your life, you feel like you're part of something that matters. That feeling? That's the most dangerous tool the Illuminati has. Now it gets political. You've been promoted to Illuminatus Minor, and for the first time, the order tells you what it actually wants. The infiltration of every institution that shapes public life. Government, universities, the church, publishing houses, Masonic lodges, especially Masonic lodges. See, here's the move that made Weishaupt a genius, or a parasite, depending on who you ask. The Freemasons already had a massive network across Europe, thousands of lodges, respectable membership, ritual infrastructure. Instead of competing with them, Weishaupt told his agents to join them and take over from the inside. And it worked. By the early 1780s, Illuminati members had infiltrated Masonic lodges across Bavaria, Saxony, Austria, and northern Italy. They didn't destroy the lodges. They wore them, like a hermit crab climbing into a bigger shell. Your job at this level is no longer recruitment. It's placement. You are told to seek positions of influence, a judgeship, a professorship, an advisory role to a minor noble. Not for your career, for the order. Every appointment is strategic. Every favor you grant, every policy you whisper into a duke's ear, serves a plan you only partially understand. You now manage novices and minervals below you. You read their sealed confessions. You write evaluations of their loyalty. You decide who advances and who is quietly frozen out. And you begin to notice something unsettling. You've become the thing you were warned about. A hidden hand, an invisible authority. You are governance without accountability, which is exactly what the Illuminati claims to oppose. But you push that thought down, because the mission is too important, because reason must triumph, because the ends justify the means. Everyone at this level tells themselves that. You are now behind the curtain. The priest degree is where the order reveals its true philosophy, and it's radical enough to get you executed in 18th century Europe. At this level, you are taught that all organized religion is a system of control. Monarchies are illegitimate. National borders are artificial. And the ideal society is one governed by an invisible council of enlightened men who guide humanity without humanity ever knowing it's being guided. Read that again. The Illuminati's endgame isn't democracy. It isn't revolution in the streets. It's a permanent shadow government run by philosophers who believe they are too smart to be accountable to the public. This is the level where people start to get uncomfortable and where the order starts losing members. Because the dirty secret of the Illuminati is that it was never as unified as the conspiracy theories suggest. By 1783, internal fights were vicious. Baron Adolf Nigg, Weishaupt's most talented recruiter, the man who single-handedly built the order's Masonic infiltration strategy, had a bitter falling out with Weishaupt over control. Nigg wanted a more democratic internal structure. Weishaupt wanted absolute authority. The man who founded a secret society to fight tyranny became a tyrant within his own organization. Nigg quit. Others followed. Sealed letters started leaking. Former members talked. But if you're still here, if you've made it to the regent degree, you're now one of roughly a dozen men who know the full structure. You oversee entire regions. You control the flow of information. You decide what the lower levels are told, and, more importantly, what they are never told. You correspond directly with Weishaupt, who now goes exclusively by his code name, Spartacus. You are, for all practical purposes, part of a secret government within the secret society. And the Bavarian state is about to find out. In 1784, Duke Karl Theodor of Bavaria issues an edict. All secret societies are banned. The Freemasons, the Rosicrucians, and specifically, pointedly, the Illuminati. How did he find out? The origin story is almost absurd. A former member named Joseph Utzkneider wrote a letter to the Duchess detailing the order's anti-religious and anti-monarchist goals. Then, according to legend, an Illuminati courier named Johann Jacob Lanz was struck by lightning while riding through the town of Regensburg. When authorities searched his body, they found documents sewn into his coat. Rituals, membership lists, the whole architecture of the order laid bare. Lightning. The Illuminati was undone by lightning. Police raids followed. Weishaupt's own papers were seized from his home in Ingolstadt, and they were damning. Not just political plans, personal letters, petty grievances. A letter where he discussed how to procure an abortion for his sister-in-law. The great architect of rational enlightenment, exposed as deeply, embarrassingly human. Weishaupt fled Bavaria. He lived the rest of his life in exile in Gotha, protected by a sympathetic duke, writing long defenses of the order that nobody read. The Illuminati, as a formal organization, was dead by 1787. It had lasted 11 years. But here's the thing about a secret society. You can never prove it's actually gone. And that's the final, most powerful level of the Illuminati, the one Weishaupt never intended. The myth. The idea that maybe they didn't disappear. Maybe they just got better at hiding. Within a decade of the order's dissolution, conspiracy theorists were blaming the Illuminati for the French Revolution. A Scottish physicist named John Robison published a book in 1797 claiming the Illuminati had orchestrated the entire thing. The storming of the Bastille, the Reign of Terror, all of it. The book was a bestseller. It was also almost entirely wrong. But it didn't matter. The pattern was set. For the next 240 years, every major upheaval, the Napoleonic Wars, the founding of the Federal Reserve, both world wars, the Kennedy assassination, the rise of hip-hop, the Denver airport, would be attributed to the Illuminati by someone, somewhere, with a cork board and red string. The real Illuminati was a messy, fractious, deeply human organization that lasted barely a decade and was undone by ego, infighting, and a bolt of lightning. The myth of the Illuminati is immortal because it answers a question that humans desperately want answered. Is someone in charge? Is there a plan? Is the chaos of history actually order, seen from high enough up? The answer, almost certainly, is no. But you're sitting in that room in Bavaria. The candle is burning down. The man across the table is waiting for your answer. And some part of you, the part that wants the world to make sense, the part that wants to believe that someone knows what's going on, that part of you says yes. Every time. If you made it to the top, subscribe. If you didn't, the order thanks you for your service.